Have you ever been there? You turn your back for 1 second and suddenly your baby has the dog's toy, your car keys, or a random piece of fluff from the carpet, and it's heading straight for their mouth. You've probably had that mini heart attack and wondered, what is going on inside that little head? Well, you've come to exactly the right place. Today, we're diving deep into the absolutely fascinating science of why babies mouth everything.
So what's the deal, really? Is it just that they're teething? Or maybe they're hungry? Well, the short answer is not even close. This super common, and let's be honest, sometimes pretty alarming behavior is actually an incredibly sophisticated process. It's a fundamental part of how a baby's brain, their body, and even their immune system all get built. All right, let's get into it. So the first thing you have to understand is that a baby's mouth is basically their most advanced piece of technology. You could even call it their first superpower, and it's up and running long before their hands are ready for prime time. I mean, think about it. A newborn's hands are kind of clumsy, right? That little grasp they have is mostly just a reflex. But their mouth, oh, that is a precision instrument from day one. It is packed with more nerve endings per square millimeter than almost any other part of the body. It's basically the perfect tool for collecting data about the world. I absolutely love this analogy. It's like a second pair of high-resolution eyes. You see, while an adult might pick something up and feel it with their fingers, a baby gets so much more detailed information by putting it in their mouth. They're learning everything: texture, shape, temperature, how hard or squishy it is. It's literally how they see the world up close. And the science behind that sensitivity is just incredible. The mouth is loaded with these specialized nerve endings called mechanoreceptors. You've got things like Merkel's discs, which are amazing at detecting tiny details like the sharp edge of a wooden block. Then you have Meissner's corpuscles picking up on light touch. It's this whole complex network that turns the mouth into such a powerful supercomputer for learning. Okay, so beyond the biology, there are some really powerful psychological reasons for all this mouthing. And two of the absolute biggest names in psychology, Jean Piaget and Sigmund Freud, had their own fascinating theories about what's going on. And they had two very different takes on it. On one hand, you've got Piaget, who saw babies as these little scientists. He believed they were actively using their senses, especially taste and touch in the mouth, to run experiments and figure out how the world works. Then you have Freud, who saw it all through the lens of pleasure, arguing that for a baby, the mouth is the #1 source of comfort and gratification. Piaget's view really changes how you see this, doesn't it? It means mouthing isn't just some mindless habit. It's an act of intelligence. When a baby sticks a rattle in their mouth, they're learning. When I shake my head, this feels different. When I bite down on it, it makes a sound. This is cause and effect, and it's learning in its purest, most hands-on form. And then you have Freud's famous concept of oral fixation. He theorized that if a baby's needs during this stage were disrupted, maybe they were weaned too early or too late, it could lead to things like nail biting or smoking in adulthood. Now, it's a hugely influential idea, but it's also worth noting that it's a theory that many modern psychologists view a bit differently these days. But wait, the story does not end there. Mouthing isn't just about learning and feeling good. It also has two incredible and kind of surprising side effects that are absolutely crucial for human development: building an immune system and learning how to talk. This right here is an evolutionary masterpiece. It's called the immunocalibration hypothesis. The idea is that when a baby mouths things, they're strategically sampling the germs and microbes in their immediate environment. And this is all happening while they're still protected by that sheltering umbrella of antibodies from their mother's milk. It's like a boot camp for their immune system, teaching it exactly what to fight and what to ignore in the world they're going to grow up in. And at the very same time, all that chewing and gnawing is a full-on workout for the mouth. It's strengthening the jaw, the tongue, and the lip muscles, all the things they'll need for speech. Even cooler, when a toy is in their mouth, it can actually block the airflow as they babble. This helps them accidentally discover how to make their very first consonant sounds, like ba, da, and ga. It's incredible. So we're seeing that babies learn by doing, but just how important is that physical, active interaction? Well, there's a famous experiment involving something called sticky mittens that gives us a really clear answer. The whole setup was just genius. Researchers took these tiny 3-month-old infants who couldn't really grasp objects on their own yet, and they gave them these little mittens covered in Velcro. This meant they could suddenly pick up and play with Velcro-covered toys just by swatting at them. Okay, so picture this. The study had two groups of babies. The active group got the cool sticky mittens and could grab and control the toys all by themselves. The passive group just watched while a parent moved the toys around for them. The only real difference was who was in control of the action. And the results? They were so powerful. The babies who had that active experience, the ones with the sticky mittens, showed a big boost in their cognitive development. They learned much faster that their actions had consequences in the world. It's solid proof that hands-on, or, mittens-on, exploration is what really turbocharges learning. All right, so we've established that mouthing is natural, it's important, and it's actually pretty brilliant. But as a parent or a caregiver, you still need to keep them safe, right? So let's get into the practical side of things. How to guide your little explorer. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? After everything we've just talked about, the answer is a very clear no. The goal is not to stop them from exploring. The goal is to manage their environment so they can explore safely. So it's really important to know what's typical. Mouthing is completely normal and really peaks around 7 months. Then it usually fades away by the time they're 2. If it's still happening really intensely after that, it might be something called oral sensory seeking, and that's worth a chat with a pediatrician. And it's also really important not to confuse this with pica, which is a separate medical condition that involves craving non-food items. And it is important to understand that pica is something different. We're not talking about a baby just exploring a toy with their mouth here. Pica is a persistent desire to actually eat things that are not food, like dirt, soap, or paper clips, which of course can be really dangerous. So the big takeaway here is to create a yes space for your baby. Child-proof your home. Get rid of choking hazards and lock up toxins. Then offer them lots of safe, interesting things to chew on. And remember that immune training we talked about? A little bit of everyday dirt is actually okay. You want things to be clean, but not totally sterile. The goal is always supervision, not suppression. So let's end with this idea. The next time you see your baby chewing on the corner of a book, try not to see it as a bad habit. Instead, see them for what they really are. A tiny scientist discovering physics, a little linguist practicing for their first words, and a brilliant immunologist building a lifetime of health. It is quite literally their most important job. I would absolutely love to hear your stories. Drop a comment below and tell us the most bizarre or surprising thing your little explorer has tried to taste test. And if you found this deep dive helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more explainers on the amazing science behind our lives. Thanks so much for watching.